And welcome to Bury Your Bookie. I'm Jeff DeForrest. We're very happy to have you guys with us for today's edition of the program. Be joined here in a sec by the great Scotty M. As we get things rolling in the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball is on tap. Many people still recovering and having a little withdrawal from the NCAA tournament, but plenty of action and a lot of exciting stuff on tap. NHL Stanley Cup is going to be a good one. We open up with a big series with the here in Florida anyway, Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Could be a real hockey bloodbath, as it often is, and the Panthers in defense of their Stanley Cup championship in some tough waters, choppy waters there. They're right out of the chute. So much to talk about. We welcome Scotty M into the program. Scotty M, I know you're a big golf guy. You look like you're out playing a couple of rounds every day, out there golfing with various celebrities here in town as you celebrate various big scores that you've made gambling. How are you, my friend? And did you manage to make a score on the Masters?
Actually, the guys that I do the co-host with on the podcast show picked before it started. They did pick Rory. I mean, he was the chalk at 6-1. I mean, 6-1 is not really a chalk, but in golf it is. So yeah, it worked out pretty good. I mean, I didn't personally use it, but the guys I co-host, with the show on the Get the Edge show, did come out with Rory, and they felt that he would get the job done, and worked out great for them. It
It
was
was,
pretty good. It was pretty intense.
yeah, I mean, very tumultuous, the final round. Kept swinging back and forth. He didn't know what was going to happen. Rory opened up looking like he was going to choke. And sure enough, he bounces back. He gets the lead, and then he looks like he's choked again. Our buddy, the professor, who was Friday as a guest on Bury Your Bookie, had, I think he had like $50 on he just was doing it to have some entertainment, but he always bets Justin Rose in these majors. So he had Justin Rose at 120-1. It looks like he's hopelessly out of it as they begin the third round, as Rose had faded, shot a 75, blew up on the Saturday round. And you're thinking, okay, when the veteran guy is in the lead, once he starts to go into decline, it usually is just a steady spiral right out of the picture. And there he is on the practice tees waiting for Rory to miss that putt. And now he's in a playoff for 6 times.
Yeah.
On a $50 wager, which would have been spectacular, only to experience the heartbreak there. And it looked like,
Yeah.
and my favorite ever choke, or one of my favorite chokes in sports history, was Jean Van de Velde in the British Open. When I don't know if you remember that, he's standing on the 18th tee with a 3-shot lead. And his caddy was this little leprechaun looking type. His name was Christoph Angioloni. And he's running after. I mean, this was a guy. I thought he was some kind of salty Irishman. I guess Angioloni would suggest that he was Italian, but he looked like a guy who had been like breastfed on Guinness Stout. And he's screaming at Vanderbilt, "No driver, no driver!" And Vanderbilt shanks a drive, and the rest is history. He ended up losing the tournament and blowing a 3-shot lead on 18, which is horrifying. I thought McIlroy was going to go into that level of choke, but he didn't. So, congrats to you guys for hanging on at 6-1.
He's been known for that, missing some clutch
Yeah.
short putts and things like that to blow tournaments. And when he missed that four footer on 18 to send it to overtime, you're like saying, he's got to
Here it
be
is.
thinking, oh my God, here we go again.
It sure looked like it was going to be a disaster, but
It
and to get back to have life breathed into you, it's almost like some guy did a Heimlich maneuver and saved you from choking. But here's Justin Rose, a valiant effort to be where he was, 11 under par, and he's hitting a couple of little 7-irons there in the driving range, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he just missed the putt, slid by the hole. Otherwise, you're still alive for 6,000 on a $50 bet. That's where to go with golf if you can find those kind of scores. It's awesome, but
Yeah,
it's
I
not
was
an easy
happy
thing
for
to bet.
Rory. I mean, you could see the emotion on him when he won it. I mean, it was just an unbelievable emotional thing for him. And you saw all the support. The fans wanted it for him. A lot of the people wanted it. The golfers, the insiders, they were all rooting for him. I mean, he's a good guy overall.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a
It,
good guy
easy to
overall, and
root
you can
for,
see
sure.
all the support he got. It was very emotional. I'll tell you what, you haven't seen anything like that in quite some time. When someone won a tournament like that.
Last time I saw something like that, it was a guy who was kneeling down in front of Benny Hinn. hoping that he could cure him from being a quadriplegic. And miraculously, as soon as he got hit in the head by Hinton, remember that guy used to just smack in the forehead? And then remarkably, the guy just sprung to his feet and started juggling. I mean, it was amazing. He couldn't move a limb before that. All right, Scotty M, we have the NBA tonight. I don't know how heavily you're involved in either of these two games, but they actually I'm somewhat surprised at the size of the line that is on the side of the favorite.
Yeah,
Orlando 5-point favorite over Atlanta. Atlanta played pretty well this year. Obviously, Orlando a little bit better to have the home court advantage here. And then Golden State laying 7 against Memphis. Any thoughts on those games?
Atlanta and Orlando's an interesting matchup. I mean, obviously, they get the right to play the number one and number two seeds in the East, which is going to be brutal at best. Cleveland or Boston, the winners of these games are going to play against. So, yeah, the numbers are, like you say, they are interesting. They're a little inflated, I think. I mean, Orlando has been playing extremely well of late, more so than Atlanta. And the other matchup, I mean, Golden State did own Memphis during the regular season. They beat them 3 out of 4 times, straight up. And that line is 7.5 in most locations right now. I think Golden State is probably the right side of this game. I think they just got too much firepower. And this Memphis team, they're so-so at best at times. I mean, they look world beaters one night, and then they look just like an average, mediocre team the next. But I think Golden State, they owned them during the season. I think it's the next step up. The better teams usually rise to the occasion with the emotions at this time of the season. And I think Golden State. I mean, I don't like 7.5. I'd probably buy this line down to 6, buy a full point and a half, lay that 135, 140. But I would make Golden State a play in this game against Memphis, more so than the other game tonight, Orlando and Atlanta. That to me is that's a tough number on that game. That game, in my mind, could go either way at this point. But I think Golden State stands out, so I'm going to take Golden State in that matchup against Memphis. I think there's just too much going on there in the right direction for Golden State. So I'd lay 6 on that game and jump on Golden State in that one.
All right, the losers of both of those games live to play another day, so not quite as definitive and final as the other two games will be coming up tomorrow night, Scotty. I don't know if you want to take a quick look at those. Heat and
Yeah, I saw
Chicago,
those games.
Heat getting
Yeah,
one, Mavs and Sacramento.
yeah.
Mavs getting 4 and a hook.
Yeah, I mean, tough matchups all around. I mean, Miami and Chicago, they pretty much had the same exact Well, Chicago's been playing much better than Miami of late. They just recently met up against each other in Chicago. Actually, Miami was a 2.5 point favorite in that game. They opened 1.5, went up to 2.5. Chicago beat them outright. Now they're making Chicago 1.5, almost like a little flip of the last time they played each other within a week ago. Chicago is playing much better ball right now. They seem to have turned it on a little bit. 1.5 is a weak number. I mean, on a game like this game's pretty much a toss-up play. I think if you can get Miami to plus 2.5 or plus 3 on a buy-up, I think they got a shot in this game against Chicago because they could definitely match up against them. And that line to me is it's a little soft, but not soft enough to make it a huge play. But I think Miami has a shot in this game. I really do. I think Spoelstra, the playoffs. He's a different type of different type of coach. Seems like he knows how to get his troops ready when it comes to that second season, more so than Chicago. I think Miami has a big shot in this game to win this game outright. But I would get this line up to right now. I'm showing it at 1.5 plus. I'd get it up to 2.5 or plus 3. I think Miami has a shot in this game as a solid play. The other game, Dallas and Sacramento. I mean, Dallas got so many guys, in and out of the lineup. Sacramento has been playing a little more steady of late. But that 4.5, I know it's a tough number for me. So I would lean towards Miami as a good play tomorrow, plus 2.5. And tonight I would jump on Golden State and I'd bring it down to 6.
Excellent,
Yeah.
Scotty. All right, are you diving into any baseball, any hockey yet? Well, for us?
Yeah, I've been diving into baseball. We've been doing really, really well. We've been tracking certain teams. Any surprises to you, Defo, at this point? I mean, San Diego's 11-0 at home, pretty
Yeah.
damn good. Can't seem to be beat on their home ballpark. won again
Detroit's
last
winning
night. They
game.
were down early, came back and blew them out.
Yeah.
They're
Detroit being
looking.
in first place. I wouldn't have thought that would be the case, even though it's early in the season and everybody's hovering around 500 in a couple of these divisions.
Yeah,
And our own hometown team been a remarkable surprise since I was suggesting that people bury every dime that they have into the under on their total. Sure enough, they get out of the chute there with a few wins and
yeah.
showing
The
us.
Marlins are playing. The Marlins are playing surprising, pretty good baseball.
Yeah,
They're 8-7. They're playing pretty well. They just won the last two games of that series against Washington. Playing against Arizona, they got Arizona pretty heavy favorite in this game tonight. Kelly, I mean, no world beater by any stretch. He's
we kind of lost Scotty Mac there momentarily. Hopefully, he'll pop back on, and we'll hear his theory about the Marlins and Arizona game today.
about
There he
that,
is.
Defoe. Yeah, got cut off there for a sec. Yeah, so no world beater there. I mean, Miami's a plus 140 underdog at home tonight. I'm probably going to stay off that game, but the team I've been really making money with is the San Francisco Giants,
Yeah,
surprisingly
a
doing
big
extremely
surprise
well.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 8-2 on the road. I mean, tonight I'm probably going to lay off this game because this Luzardo has been excellent in his first three starts for Philadelphia. Actually, last game it was 1-1, and they had a 3.5 hour rain delay. So he's been spot on right now. So he's going to be a tough out. Verlander, listen, he's getting up there. He's not what he used to be.
He broke
So
in with Satchel Paige, Verlander. What are you talking about? This guy's like been in the league forever. How is he still pitching? It must be the young girl, keeps him motivated.
she's keeping him going, man, in the right direction. Yeah.
No
As
doubt.
far as baseball tonight, uh, I'm going to jump on Detroit. I've been using them also early. They've been playing really well. They won easily last night with Screwball against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's lost their last three straight games in a row. They got a decent home record, 5-3. But I think that Detroit is the right way to go in this game. Flaherty, I like this guy Flaherty. When he's on, he's tough, very tough pitcher when he's on, and he was on his last couple of starts. So I'm liking him tonight again. The price is pretty decent. I mean, 125 on the road. Last night they were 165 with Screwball, and they won easily. It was like a joke, 9-1. I think Detroit can handle. Their bats have been pretty solid. They're finding ways to stay consistent through the first 16 games of the season. So I'm going to take Detroit, and I also like Atlanta tonight in baseball. This Schwellenbach has been dynamite. He's been their ace so far. He hasn't even let up his ERA. I mean, it's only a couple of starts, so I don't get too excited about it. But I like Atlanta in this spot. They're minus 115 against Toronto. So I like Atlanta tonight, and I like Detroit. Those are the two I like in baseball.
Excellent stuff. All right. If people want to follow Scotty M, you're all over social media.
Hey,
But
I wanted to tell you,
yeah.
I went down to the UFC fights with my son Saturday night. It was
Oh yeah.
unbelievable. With Trump there, the whole 9 yards. It was crazy. What a vibe down there. I actually got to meet Bruce Buffer, the ring announcer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's actually coming on our podcast show this week. I got him to come on. A good friend of mine is partners with him,
Oh
so he's
great.
going to be coming on our show this Wednesday at 6 o'clock on the Get the Edge podcast. So, you got any advice? You've been around 40 years. You're the master at interviewing people. Any question you think I could ask Bruce Buffer that would, off the wall or something?
I believe Bruce Buffer was the architect behind the riches that were achieved by his brother Michael Buffer,
Correct.
who, of course, what was the boxing guy, and everybody. I believe it was Bruce Buffer. I may be wrong about this. That inspired Michael Buffer to trademark "Let's Get Ready to Rumble,"
That's correct.
which he
That's
then
correct.
made a fortune on. I think you should absolutely. I don't know if he'll do this, but should he not introduce the crew, or at least one of your crew members, or yourself? When you get him to do one of those intros that he does at the UFC fights, because Michael Buffer was kind of smooth, and he had that whole thing that he would just
Right.
elongate the guy's name. And it became very, very popular. And the Let's Get Ready to Rumble always got people fired up. But this guy is screaming right out of the corner from the word go. So
Right.
if he could
Did you
introduce
know? Did
Scotty
you
M,
know that?
that would be awesome.
Did you know that they didn't even know each other? Or supposedly they were half brothers. and they found out about each other when they were in their 20s. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not sure if that's, but I heard that they didn't even realize they were brothers until later on in life.
Wow. Well, and what's weird is whereas Jimmy Lennon Sr., who I knew, great ring announcer, very elegant and eloquent guy, and his son Jimmy Lennon Jr. became world renowned as a ring announcer, Hall of Famer, and
Yep.
it sounded just like his father. It was a spitting image of his father, looked like him, sounded like him, and yet the Buffers couldn't be any more diametrically opposed in terms of their approach.
Yeah,
Uh,
the only three names that I think of in my lifetime of associated with boxing and the UFC is Michael Buffer, Bruce Buffer, and Jimmy Lennon Jr. Really, I mean
Jimmy
those are the
Lennon.
only three
Well,
names over the last 25, 30 years I know of.
yeah. All right. Interesting. And you had a wild time there. Very good. Did you make any wagers on the UFC stuff?
No, actually I did. I gave out Volkanovski in the main fight. I thought he would be outclass him if it went longer. We had a lot of guys that we speak to. They thought if it went short, if it was within the first 10 minutes, that Lopez would have a big shot to get rid of him. But as it got longer, I felt if the fight went longer, which I thought it would give an edge to Volkanovski, and obviously Patty the Batty I used in the co-main event over Michael Chandler. I just thought he was too much class there against Chandler, younger, strong, faster, and he just picked apart Chandler and destroyed him. So yeah, we got lucky with the main event and the co-main event. Those are the only two we released, and they both won.
Nothing like a good two-fight parlay, my friend. All right, Scotty M, always a pleasure. Well, we'll talk to you again next week, and thanks so much for joining us here on Bury Your Bookie.
Defo, have a great day. I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Scotty M, ladies and gentlemen. He was on his game, man. Ready to rock and roll. He's got this NBA stuff working. So good luck with your wagers. I'm not sure. I'm a little vague. I'd be tempted to take the points actually in both games. So if that throws you off and makes a dent in your bankroll, worse than some of these stock market hits, then we apologize for that. But I don't know. I'm thinking Atlanta is going to be tight with Orlando, and could Memphis not give Golden State a go? Or am I missing something there? Steve Kerr used to be the most mild-mannered of coaches on the sideline in terms of his demeanor. He's laughing, he's joking, he's having a good time. All of a sudden, is morphing into the kind of bitterness that is only exhibited by a Tom Thibodeau, where Thibodeau looks like he got ripped off on a pastrami sandwich at some deli on his way to the Garden, and just hasn't quite gotten over the fact he paid $26 for a couple of pieces of meat on a slice of rye bread. All right, we will see you guys tomorrow. Next edition of Bury Your Bookie. Trey West should be joining us from the West Coast. Hope you guys are successful in all your wagers. NBA playoffs get underway. Stanley Cup playoffs right on the horizon. Baseball going strongly, so plenty of wagering activity. Kentucky Derby's around the corner. We'll get into that. So join us as we'll be with you every morning right here during the week on nofilter.net with the next editions of Bury Your Bookie.